It was my daughter's fault because she signed us up for a class, a watercolor class with New York Botanical Gardens. And little did I know what I would get into. I labored over doing a daffodil, which I draped out very beautifully and erased and redid and erased again. But the most important part I remember about the first class was that at one point people were walking around and talking, and I commented that I found that rather rude because it didn't allow me to focus. And my daughter said, "Mom, they're cleaning their brushes. Class is over. You can go home now." I had no sense of time at all. And then began to paint at home. I would start with an espresso in the morning and sit down and paint, and suddenly it would be dark. I hadn't eaten, I didn't answer the phone, I didn't even hear the phone. I thought, if I can do this, if I can do one leaf exactly, then I should be able to do anything. My journey in art is rather young, and yet it has fulfilled me to a point where I look on my life and think before art and after art. It's only with the botanicals that I stick to the rules, and the rules were set by the Royal Horticultural Society. Since I'm right-handed, the rule for me is the light has to come over my left shoulder. The light comes from here. And in botanicals, you don't create shadows. In the arrangement, which is my way of composing, not necessarily the way they sit here, I have an expression in the motion. It's much like dance. If you follow that line, if you would do it physically, and sometimes I do a hand motion and then I follow it with my whole body. It's truly like dancing, like internalizing the line, the motion of it, and then drawing it. I want to create a sense of peace, that centeredness, that peacefulness, to let that out when I do botanicals. But then I realized that after a while there was something else that wanted to come out. I needed to go to my belly, to my unconscious, and check out how that felt and listen to that part of me bubble up whatever it wanted to. And I began to give that an expression, and those pieces all became abstracts. When I do abstracts, I feel first. Then I gravitate toward the color or the material that I want to use. I like to use what speaks to me. I've done pieces where I've used toothpaste, lipstick, napkins, and little pieces of plastic, nail polish, anything. But it's mostly about staying in the stream of your feeling. I also had the sense of not controlling the outcome. Sometimes I step back from an abstract piece and I look at it and say, where did that come from? I could look at it as if it weren't mine. I cannot be boxed in. I love my freedom. I like to break rules when I feel they're appropriately broken. My teacher said, you should never have an even number in a composition. It doesn't work. So I went with 6. Anyway, I got away with it. My husband, the day I met him, I was so moved. I went home and I took this big piece of paper, cleared the table. By 4 in the morning, I decided it's done. A year after that, I had a show in Texas. And at that point, we were dating, and he had not seen any of my artwork. And I said, walk around and let me know which one speaks to you. And he walked around twice and picked this piece. And then I told him how it had come about. When I teach others, I say, if you are not totally in love with the piece that you want to draw, don't do it. Because then there is no relationship, there is no feeling, and you get very tired working on something that you're not attracted to. If you feel something about it, then you can paint it, and usually it ends up successful. I found that when I teach, I give everything. I give all the tricks of the trade, anything I've taught myself or I've read or learned, whatever is necessary, There's no holding back. What I get out of it is watching them grow. It's just amazing how many people walk in and say, well, I'm not an artist, I'm not even artistic, so I don't know what I'm doing here, but I want to try. And they go through it and they look at what they accomplished and say, I can't believe I did this. And my heart jumps. It's just so beautiful. I do some work which I have dubbed Personal Mandala Readings. It's a way of identifying with the center within you. Everything in nature essentially is centers and circles, whether it's cells in your body, or atoms, or galaxies, or seeds, or fruits. You see the reflection of that in every culture. The center is considered the convergence of time and space, here now. There is a space to depict who you are in essence, that part of you that always has been and always will be, or as you know yourself in the depth of you like nobody else can. And then there is a portion that is designed to hold everything that you have adopted that helps you when life gets tough. You go out of your head and into your belly and you listen and you give a simple expression of whatever comes to mind as you look back. Doing personal mandala readings to me is sheer joy, because I can see that it helps people, that it makes a difference.